when I joined NASA. At all centers, I don't think Marshall had one. And of course, when I joined NASA, of course, Johnson wasn't here, and neither back then it was Marshall. Yeah. So, but all the early centers had one of these for transport.
Yeah.
Scheduled flights, or was it just on demand?
We ended up, it wasn't planned that way, but when Space Task Group formed, the initial space group, they pulled people, a lot of people pulled out of other centers to form that group. Like Glenn Lunny was, he was at Lewis. George Lowe later became head of NASA at one point, was head of Apollo program. He came out of Lewis. Only Doug Black, Preston, who later was head of the Apollo operations at Kennedy Space Center. They all came out of Lewis. So until there wasn't a buyout on your homes deal then. The government has now for people transfer. So until they could sell their homes, we ran a Monday, Friday flight from Cleveland, Ohio. I was at Lewis Research Center to Washington, and then dropping some people off there like George Lowe, and one of the big public affairs guys came out of Lewis. So we dropped them off at the Butler Terminal at Washington National. Then we'd fly down to Langley and drop the rest of the group. Then we'd fly deadhead back to Cleveland. And we'd do the same thing on Friday. We never missed the flight in the year. Snow, ice, everything. The crash of that lifting body, that was the M2F2, which Bruce Peterson was flying and lost an eye out of that accident on the lake that day. But at any rate, we split them up because we knew the round bottom one would have lousy lateral directional characteristics, yaw roll. That's what he got into a problem that way. And the flat bottom one, the HL10, we knew had bad longitudinal or pitch characteristics. In fact, at certain angles of attack, it pop ends. So we didn't want all the bad handling qualities in one vehicle. So we attacked the problem that way. We said we'll look at the bad lateral directional with this one shape, and we'll look at the bad pitch with the other shape. So kind of not bite off more than you could chew, sort of philosophy.
Yeah, that's smart.
We both moved on to Flight Research Center at Edwards Air Force Base, California, which is really the premier aircraft test operation for NASA. And it was kind of the pathway for both of us then into the astronaut program. For us, when we joined, it was just another transfer. We just kept our same pay scale, GS rating, and just moved to another center. It happened to be Johnson. So we went through 3 NASA centers getting into the astronaut program. As mentioned, on 13, I backed up Apollo 8. In fact, the backup crew on Apollo 8 was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and myself. Unfortunately, Mike Collins got well. He had been pulled out of the alignment with a neck injury. And Mike got well, so I got bumped because he had seniority. So he took my place and went off and flew Apollo 11. So I got to back up Apollo 11. I backed up Buzz on Apollo 11 and then flew 13. Then backed up John Young on, was backup commander on Apollo 16 with Jerry Carr and Bill Pope. At the time, we thought we were going to get to fly Apollo 19, which would have been the last landing mission. So I thought I was going to get a second try. But we were in training about 4 or 5 months, and they canceled 18 and 19. So Deke Slayton got Jerry and Bill off to Skylab. They ended up flying the last mission to give them a ride because we were running out of seats with the missions left. So they moved off, and I finished up that deadhead crew assignment with Ed Mitchell and Stu Russa, who had just come off Apollo 14. So we finished. I was hoping John would break his leg somewhere along the way, a month before launch, but it didn't work out that way. Still didn't make what it should have done, so they had to run this one a little longer to get in orbit. So it was nice. There was just, I don't know what the reserve was, there wasn't very much, but there was enough reserve still to commit to go to the moon. We almost could have got stuck in Earth orbit.
What about the third stage? A lot of times, I don't know how many, but some of the third stage went into a heliocentric orbit around the sun.
This one, I think all flights did it. People on the ground oriented this vehicle, the third stage, and used binning to provide a little propulsion, and they varied its path to deliberately make it impact the moon. We had left seismometers on 11 and 12. We left them on all landings. So I think they did that with all the third stages thereafter to create a small meteorite impact. And they also did that with LEMs. They didn't do it with Apollo 11. We left it, and when they left it, we had them turn off the water valve, and we watched that LEM die. We watched how the systems died with no cooling. The later LEMs, so same thing. They were going they deorbited.
So that was controlled by the ground.
Right. Yeah. So people were so tired that they went home. They didn't have the splashdown party, and they delayed it. So we got to go to our own splashdown party. We're the only crew. We're the only crew that got to go to our splashdown party.
That's true. But I'll tell you, that used to be the thing. Splashdown parties on all of the Apollos. You knew who flew. You knew, and when they came back, it was party time, and it was a splashdown party. That's exactly. Gosh, that has to bring back memories. Come on down this way, guys.
What's that little backpack on the side of the third stage?
That's where they put that special alien juice from Area 51. It actually makes it fly.
Houston, we have a problem. Hello, this is Fred Hayes with Liz, and we've been having a good time touring Houston. Yesterday to Galveston, actually, down to the island, and today it's Space Center Houston. And I wish y'all could be with us here, although I don't think you'd like our probably 94 to 96 degree, 90% humidity weather we're having. I don't know if you can see the perspiration on us, but we've had a good time.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.